They see and hear us from a place we can't see or hear them. That's the famous saying about the supernatural. And indeed, it is true, they do see us and hear us from a place we can't see them or hear them. Sometimes it's just for fun, just because they're mischievous in nature, just because they want to scare us, create fear in us. And sometimes it's the after effects of black magic. Most of these incidents are true horror stories, true horror events that people have experienced firsthand. Back in the 1960s, when India was just recovering from the wounds of the partition, people were hard pressed for money, and everyone was trying hard to find a livelihood for themselves. This is the story of one such fine young man, Ahmed. Ahmed saw the demise of his father at a very young age. He was just 22 when his father passed on, and when that happened, he had to shoulder the responsibility of supporting his family. He went on to take up the job of a teacher. It was his first job, and it certainly did kindle his interest. He started to enjoy the art of educating the young ones. During the course of his job, he met a certain man who was a veteran in child psychology and education. Ahmed tagged along this person to further improve his skills, and the natural outcome of this learning curve was to open a full-fledged school, and so he did. But due to lack of funds, he had to find a place which would suit his low budget. He found an old 2-story building. However, there was a problem. The old rusty-looking building had a reputation for being haunted, and the entire neighborhood was aware of this. The word that did its rounds was that whoever occupied that building either died an unpredictable, untimely death or was completely financially destroyed. As for Ahmed, his knowledge of this supernatural existence meant nothing. He had found a place which suited his financial situation, and there ended the matter. So dire was his financial situation that he even decided to shift his family into this building. So now he and his family resided on the first floor while running a functional school on the ground floor. As time passed, the difficulties in the functioning of the school grew, as did the financial problems. There was no harm to life though, but the difficulties were so many that it was becoming really hard to hold on. Besides being an educationist, Ahmed was also a cinema lover. He often used to escape to the cinema hall for the late night show after facing all the problems in school. So one night, after finishing the late night movie, he came back home, his family asleep on the first floor. He stood at the huge door at the entrance of the building looking for the keys in his pocket. It was late at night. No street lights, not a soul on the dimly lit, dead silent street. Some dogs barking in the far distance. The huge wooden door with carvings along the side had an old metal chain latch, and as Ahmed unlocked the chain and opened the door, he saw right in front of him a glowing, smoky white figure glide across the corridor that led to the stairs. At once, Ahmed knew that this was the supernatural entity that haunted the building, and it was wandering around the house. He quietly walked into the house, closed the door behind him, walked up to the stairs, went to his room and slept. The next day morning, he woke up with a thought in his mind that he had to perform a cleansing of the building, a total cleansing of the building. And so he went on to do a few months later, after which the problems he faced with the functioning of the school slowly faded away. Contrary to the rumors, Ahmed was the only one to have survived both death and a financial disaster in that building. He went on to educate thousands of minds in that very building for 24 years. He was my father. I can personally vouch for the authenticity of this supernatural incident because I have heard this story from my father many times through my childhood.